Frogman Friday.
Yeah, boy.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Frogman Friday. Ryan Birdman Parrot. This episode is brought to you by Frog Fuel. Go check out frogfuel.com and use code Frogman Friday at checkout for your 10% off. Today, our badass guest is Johnnie Yellock. He served 7 years as an Air Force combat controller, exiting service as a staff sergeant. He founded Boots for Warriors in 2018 in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. A nationally renowned public speaker and just a badass American. You can follow Johnnie on social media handles to follow the show. To learn more about Boots for Warriors, go check out bootsforwarriors.org and check out johnnyellock.com. Brother, welcome to the show.
Appreciate the intro.
Yeah, man. We haven't spent much time together in a while, so
No, we have not.
It's really good to be.
Share are just so sweet.
Yeah, man. I'm stoked, man. We just had a guy from the Air Force on not too long ago, and I'm getting more Air Force on now, and I'm super excited because I didn't get to work a lot with the Air Force, but learning different branches and what people are doing, it's just it's really cool to me because I was only in my own little world, and I thought we were really cool, and then I realized that everybody else is just as cool, if not cooler. So I'm like, okay, let's go.
There's definitely a lot of preconceived notions between all the service branches, especially in special operations, but you know, services like to rip on each other, but I think that special ops guys, we recognize pretty quickly that it doesn't matter what uniform we're wearing, we're all doing the same job, putting ourselves in front of the same risks and doing it for the same reason. So like you, I didn't get much FaceTime with any SEALs, but you know, I did a couple training ops with them, but you know, definitely look forward to building this relationship with you and moving forward and seeing, you know, what good we can do for our people here now.
Let's do it, man. Well, let's dig right in. So talk to me about being in the special operations community. We're told to shut our mouth and not tell anybody about what we do, right? And then when we get out, we seem to always try to fight with that identity of how do I get out in the real world, talk, yet do it the right way. And then a lot of us find ourselves into the public sector and then being asked to do speaking. And some of us are okay, like myself. And then some of us are really good, like you. How did you get into public speaking and what ignites your fire to do it?
Well, I definitely was not of the mindset of becoming a public speaker when I was growing up. And like everybody, was nervous and felt like I needed to go to the bathroom before getting up in front of a classroom to give a report. But I can tell you that, you know, the Lord works in awesome ways. And as soon as I had a story to tell, he gave me the voice to share it. So it wasn't until after I was wounded in combat and came home and recognized how impactful my perspective from the battlefield was to people that otherwise wouldn't hear it, that I began speaking. So ultimately, I love people. I love meeting new people, interacting, traveling the country, learning different perspectives and sharing my own. And public speaking gives me an incredible opportunity to do just that.
You've been doing it a while now?
Yeah, I was wounded in 2011, and my first public speaking engagement was to a group of 100 brigadier generals at BAMC. They showed up and I had just come out of anesthesia, and they come in and ask if I'm willing to go downstairs on a panel to talk to these brass and share my experiences. So I've got a fentanyl lollipop in my mouth being rolled down. My parents are telling me I shouldn't do it, but I get on the panel and it's probably the most talkative one of the bunch. They had someone representing every service, and it was really in that interaction with our leaders. These are all Air Force brigadier generals that had just sewn on, and the questions that they were asking, their jaws on the floor and their eyes wide open at the perspective that I was sharing from the not so distant battlefield that was maybe 3 weeks in my midst. And this is the first time that they've experienced anything like that. So I recognize that if people serving in our that are currently serving didn't have a grasp on what exactly was going on the battlefield, that there was a lot of benefit to be gained by sharing it with businesses in corporate America, going into college campuses, elementary schools, and it's all been incredible.
Well, clearly it's been a path, an interesting path for you, because I've seen you. You said you started out with fentanyl lollipops and generals to sitting on stage with President George W. Bush, giving a talk, which is what most people can't say they've done. So that's quite an interesting thing. How was that?
It is incredible. I was blessed. Well, I can say that I was blessed. It was the best day of my life to be wounded in combat. Because of the path that it set me on, which landed me in the brushstrokes of President George Bush's book, Portraits of Courage. So I was one of the wounded warriors that he painted for that. So afterward, I was invited to speak on a panel with him. I played in the George Bush Warrior Open, so I got to interact with fellow wounded warriors and, again, share our stories and perspectives with the world through George Bush's work, which was incredible. But I always tell people that he is an incredible example of humility, because to me and to everybody that gets to know him or spend some time with him, he's like your favorite funny uncle. He's just there's no walls. What you see is what you get. He leans in, which is incredible. He wants to be present in every moment, which is something we could all emulate. So two of his biggest traits are humility and punctuality. So he is very humble, but when it's time to go, it's time to go.
Yeah, he said something very interesting when we met up with him during that Act of Valor movie screening in Dallas. He came in the room, and it's never the case that you can shut a bunch of SEALs up in a room pretty quickly. And just him walking in the door did that for us. We were like, that's the President of the United States. And he looks at us, and before he says anything else, he goes, I don't miss being your president. Politics and all that bullshit. But I do miss being your commander in chief. And that was just like, okay, I kind of love you. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah. See, hindsight is 2020 always. All the people, even all the naysayers from back then, they're like, you know what? He was a pretty good dude.
Yeah, no question. I couldn't do that job. Wouldn't even want to try. So hats off to him.
I and everybody else appreciate the job that you're doing. Appreciate what you're doing. So
yeah,
don't worry about
that. Well, so this is one thing I also love about specifically special operators, and it's not to take away from anybody else who served, but there's just this huge need when you get out of service to continually serve, and not just do it, but do it on some grand scale. Like, what's a true need? And if a true need's being fulfilled, then what can I do to add? And that's exactly what you've done, man. You've gone to combat, you've fought for the United States, you were injured in combat, and you get out of the service. And while you're trying to make a life for yourself, you're still giving back by founding an organization, Boots for Warriors. So tell me about the concept of founding that. Why did you do it? What do you do? Let people know everything you want.
Cool. Yeah. So like I said, ever since getting out, I've been trying to share my story and meeting as many people as I can. And my journey, the end state of my injuries leaves me with some feet that are very difficult to buy, like off the shelf shoes in general. When I played for the George Bush Warrior Open, there was a man that showed up, about 75-year-old man, and he was measuring wounded warriors for boots. He had gone around the state, raised money to outfit wounded service members with custom fit cowboy boots. And to be honest, I did not grow up wearing cowboy boots. I was the least interested in anything of the sort. But I went down and I got measured, and I built a relationship with the boot measurer and the one that saw the process that he was doing, outfitting these guys. And I eventually got my boots. So my ankles are both completely fused. My feet will never move again. I wear leg braces like this every day of my life for the rest of my life. So like I said, difficult to wear shoes, but got these awesome cowboy boots made for me. They show a lot of the things that matter to me the most. There's our combat control flash, along with the pull handles have the operating initials of my best friends represented on my bracelet and as well as on the wall above me here. But what's incredible is that they customize them with a zipper in the back to allow me to get in and out of those things. So it wouldn't be possible without the adaptation and the custom fit. So it boots. So fast forward, I'm playing golf and I get paired up with a guy who happens to be the world's most obsessed with cowboy boots. So you've got me, who's obsessed with meeting new people and sharing my testimony and connecting people and serving, especially other wounded warriors. And you've got incredible, immense, often misunderstood passion for cowboy boots. And we put us together. The next week we started Boots for Warriors, and it's been an awesome journey. We've been small, stayed small. We have a mission now of growing in 2024. We've done over 200 wounded warriors. None of them paid a dime. If they need something fixed, we'll ship it back, get it updated for them. Just incredible testimony to allow these guys to be able to show the things that matter to them. We say that we're providing custom fit thank yous in the form of cowboy boots to our nation's wounded warriors.
So that's so awesome. I actually saw when you guys started, there was posts going out. It looked like you did some Medal of Honor recipients. It was really cool to see all those together. It's like, wow, it's just, it's cool because now they can wear something else with dignity that they can carry along their people like you do. They can carry their insignias like you do. I mean, that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, and it's not, in the beginning, of course, if you're doing anything good, you're going to catch some flack, and that's how you know you're doing something good. But also, you're deep in the thick of it as well when it comes to mental health, especially for our brothers and sisters that have served in the military. There were people that attacked us because it's like, you got guys that are taking their own lives and self-harm and dealing with immense struggle, and you're just providing them with a cowboy boot. What do you think that's going to do? Well, to be honest, it could do a lot, right? It's an opportunity to open a door, right? A lot of guys in our generation aren't showcasing all of their military-esque things on their person all the time, right? So but the cowboy boots, and for the type of people that wear cowboy boots, they represent connection to something. And by displaying their insignia, imagine, well, we need to get you a pair that has the trident on there. But imagine being able to hack up your pants and showcase the trident on a pair of boots. It's pretty awesome. It starts a conversation. People ask about it. And that really is, I think you'll agree, the key to, just connecting with people. You've got to lean in, ask the next question. Don't just settle for the superficial. Hey, how's it going? Good. How are you doing? So funny about our culture. We have two people walking by on a street. Both of them ask a question. Nobody answers. How's it going? What's up? We haven't exchanged anything.
Right.
It's amazing. So the boots represent intentionality about leaning in, creating connectivity that's personal and custom to these individuals. And hopefully they get out there and they share their stories with other people.
Well, and another thing that's important too, I remember when I got out, I'm a skateboarder. So I wear skate shoes, it's just natural for me. Even when in a suit, which I rarely wear a suit, but still skate shoes, right? Yeah. And one of my mentors, but one of my mentors, a true mentor of mine, he's just like, what the hell is that? And I was like, what do you mean? I've always worn skate shoes. He's like, one's got a hole in the big toe, the other one's got a hole in the side. I mean, do you actually skateboard in these things and you're wearing them in a suit? I'm like, yeah. He's like, why don't we get you some dress shoes? I'm like, I'm good, man. And you don't realize how important that is. And then when you have dress shoes, you're like, cowboy boots are a step up. And it's like, to be able to look in a decent manner, like we wear a uniform in the military for a reason, and we have multiple uniforms for professionalism. It's the same thing in the public sector. Nobody's going to take me seriously wearing torn up skate shoes, but if I have a clean custom pair of boots, obviously they know that something means something to me and I'm here to play. So it's, I love what you're doing. I think that's great. I'm going to pray for you guys to grow at the pace that you want to grow at. And for everybody who is watching this, we're going to put the websites at the end of this so you can go reach out to Johnnie if you want to hire him to speak, and also to go check out Boots for Warriors and make a donation. I'm very blunt about that. I have run charities for 13 years now. And so got to be blunt. We
got to be blunt. Yep. That's a barrier to entry. You got to speak up.
Charities need help more than ever. You know, this is one thing, when economically, or if there's COVID or whatever is happening in the world, doesn't mean that the people who have their injuries and ailments aren't still suffering from those things. And so we always got to remember what it is and how to continue to support them. So, brother,
that's a good point, because all the things of the world are just further compounding these often unaddressed issues. So
that's right, man. Well, one thing I got for you that we always end this show on is, I always ask everybody to tell me about a hero of yours, somebody who either gave their life for this country, somebody who served in a higher level, just somebody that you look up to. That story isn't shared enough, and we want to continue to remember them. So tell us about that story.
Well, that story is about, like I said earlier, there's 4 of my friends represented on my cuff, 4 of the friends' names that are represented on my boots. But FR is Mark Forrester. He's the one in the middle, fellow combat controller. We went through training together, and he represented, everything that we all strove to be. He was so comfortable in his skin, which in these days, and especially back then, is in 2008, 2009, it was very rare. But he was confident in his faith. He didn't project it on anybody, but he definitely didn't shy away from the things that he believed in and his convictions about life and the way that he was going to live it. The man never drank a drop of alcohol, never smoked, didn't cuss. It was pretty funny. If we were having arguments on the team, like in the team room, he would have a surrogate cusser for him. So he would yell at somebody and then he'd go quiet and they would insert but he was serving in his first combat deployment in FOB Cobra in 2010, and was killed and died a hero's death. He was pinned down by enemy gunfire, and his medic went out and was shot. And Mark, under a hail of bullets, went out, engaged the enemy, took down a machine gunner, and as he was dragging his medic's body back to safety, with his weapon raised, laying down fire, was hit with one round from a sniper that went right around his body armor and into his heart, killing him on the battlefield that day. His parents still have, so what was incredible is the plate carrier that was removed from his body. Whenever they removed the plates, each one of them was wrapped in an American flag. And he has, to anybody that's ever worn plates, they know that there's not much margin of error inside a plate carrier. He had American flags wrapped around each one of them. His parents still have the flag that has the seared fragments of the bullet that ultimately took his life. But Mark is a hero, not just because of what he did on the battlefield, but for everything that I said in the beginning. He was one of the people that holds me to account for, don't wait to eulogize somebody at their funeral. Mark was one of those guys that he made such an impact on you while living that we eulogized him in life. We talked about how incredible this guy is, how fortunate we were to have this relationship with him. So when he passed, it made it that much more significant of an impact that he had on so many people. His brother wrote a book called My Brother in Arms. His name is Thad Forrester, and you can look that up on Amazon. And it captures a lot of what goes into being a special operator and living a life that we could all aspire to be.
Thank you for sharing, brother.
any chance I get to. Again, just like the boots, this cuff gets referenced a lot. People say, I like that. Does it help with your balance? I'm like, no, it's not a copper balance bracelet, but it does give me a chance to lean in, say their names, tell people about how incredible they were, that there were men that volunteered to go and fight on their behalf.
You're the man. Well, there it is, everyone. JohnnyYellock.com, bootsforwarriors.org. Go check both of them out. We'll put the handles and how to get in touch with Johnnie right after this. Thanks again, my brother.
Thanks, Birdman. Appreciate it. Keep it going.
Always.